Hey, you guys ready? Here we go. Hi, everyone. How are you? Hope you had a good day, a nice weekend. I did not get to come out on Friday. Um, I got caught up with some things, and with it being the holidays, I figured people were busy anyway. So, hi, Lighthouse Dreamer. Have you been here before? Your energy feels like I kind of know you. Uh, Hi, Polly. Hi, Empress Shirley. Hi, Alejandra. I'm so glad you got to be here. And Tammy, how is everyone? So forgive me because I may start channeling. I've opened myself up to mediumship tonight. Um, I had a little bit of mediumship with clients today, so I was like, well, let's just do some. I told you guys I could feel that it was coming. I think I told you guys last week. Yeah. See, I'm already like starting. So, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am at Simply Cindy. I am a psychic medium. I have lots of tools in my basket. I was born a psychic medium. So, I've been doing a lot of astrology. Astrology is something that I really love, but I do many other things. Mediumship, I have not done in a while publicly. I do it privately with clients all the time, but publicly, I have not done it in a while. So, I figured this evening, I always give my memberships. Uh, so I have a membership that you can join, and for the memberships, they do come first. Um, yeah, unless it's like I'm shown that this whoever it is needs to come first, right? But they're usually here. They're my biggest supporters, so we have private time together, so it's kind of up to them, but they know that they can come. They're usually first. I'm picking them first. So otherwise, it's not spirit led like most people might do, um, because they work with me. So it's both led. It's led by both me and my higher self, me and the universe, me and that bigger energy. Some of y'all call it God, some of y'all call it the universe, some of y'all call it um, love, a bigger energy, whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. They don't care. That energy doesn't care. It knows you, it loves you. So, um, yeah. And then you'll see me kind of go off because I'm starting to channel. Uh, I am an evidential medium. So I do give evidence, and they already know on the other side working with me that I don't want anything that can be Googled or found. Because it's important for the person in front of me that I'm reading to understand that there is somebody that's talking, that's giving me a message. Okay. Cindy Lou needs a coffee. Yes, thank you. Can y'all tell? So before we start all, I just wanted to let everybody, Athena, how are you? So before we start, I just want to let everybody know or ask some questions even to my group, my our group. And if you found us, you're part of the group. We don't like not like anybody, not accept anybody. You resonate with us, you found us, we're probably your group. Um but has anybody want to tell me how Mars has been doing and Mercury's been doing? It's been kicking my butt. Y'all already knew it was kicking my butt, but it's been really kicking my butt. It's not bad stuff. It's just like, oh, I'm tired. Um, I honestly think it's just releasing, which is why I did the thumbnail like I did. For some of us, it's time for us to go into the more evolved, the different resonance, the whatever you want to call it, different vibration, higher, whatever you want to call it. For for that to happen, you have to release, have some closure. So you have to release, and sometimes people need closure. We can tell by the way that the astrology is going that we have closures going on because a lot of the planets are at the end of certain signs and they're about to move in. That's what 2025 is a lot about. So the end of 2024 into 2025, we are changing signs. So that anaretic degree, the 29 degree, we've talked about that before. The anaretic degree is a very powerful, important degree. It's closure. And sometimes with closure, because not always, I can think of times where it wasn't painful, but sometimes with closure, there's pain and discomfort, right? But it's not always that way. There are people that do closure and they've already dealt with the pain. They just need that one last thing for that closure, right? So I figured with mediumship, if I could give some messages from the other side to people so that they can have their closure, so that they can resonate, because we're moving into a time of into a different time, a different vibration. And if you're in that vibration, you can't keep this vibration, which means you can't keep your baggage, you can't keep, or it's going to be a different vibration. Like you can still be kind of with people that close their stuff. This is scientific stuff, but you could be kind of in that frequency, but you won't be in that frequency. So you'll be like right here, right? If that makes any sense. So it's just really getting chance. Yeah, getting me too. And it's a lot of inner work. So with the inner work is a lot of action that's coming, right? So yeah, like for me personally, I feel like I can't catch up. But I am caught up. But I feel like I can't catch up. I don't know if that makes any sense. But um, thank you, Tammy. Yes, for private readings, you're welcome to email me. Tammy just put that on there. Um, oh, and those of you that had the question on my membership, so the group in my membership, for those of you, we call them revolutionaries. That's what we are, the revolutionaries. Um, for those of you that were questioning why the color changed, it changed from dark to light after, if you've been with me over a month, so into the next month. And then I think it's going to change again the next month. So the longer you're with me, you'll have different colors. Okay. So I looked at that and I was like, oh, yeah, this is because they're all over a month. That's why your colors changed. Okay. On your stars. So, like, you guys got to tell me, does that stuff really like matter to you guys? Because we can do specific stars for specific people. Like, you have to remember for me that I don't think about that part of the stuff. I have to. But if it excites you, if it keeps you motivated, if it's like it's something that you want. Oh, white, I am colorblind. Really, you're colorblind? That's interesting. It's rare for a female to be colorblind. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not impossible. It's just rare that people that women are colorblind. Um, well, just know, because I'm looking at where Polly said Chance and I are both are dealing with that Mars retrograde and that Mercury retrograde, and it's opposing Pluto, and Pluto is conjunct to Venus, so your emotions are involved, your value is involved. We already know about Pluto if you've listened to me. So, but tonight we're going to do mediumship, but I just kind of wanted to see how everyone was doing. How are you doing for the holidays? Has it been a little bit different this time than it has been in the past? Yeah, I see shades. We already discussed this. Tammy, you already know when the teacher comes out or if I'm channeling, I don't remember. Can you imagine if I like kept everybody's stuff? I wouldn't be able to like get up. I don't remember stuff. Sometimes I remember, sometimes they bring it back to me, but I don't remember. but I trust you, so we probably did talk about it. I just don't remember. Holidays feel very different, right? It's okay, Professor. She calls me the professor. I love it. Um, yeah, the holidays are feeling very different, right? They are for us too. Um, and a lot of clients that I've seen lately, yeah, it's different. It's way different. So I was wanting to see how you guys, I know that a lot of us have healed, and the holidays are different. And so the message that I was getting before was like, we're realizing how much we've healed or how far in our journey we actually are. We're further than we thought we were, right? At least that's what I've been hearing. That's what I've been experiencing. And I'm wondering if you guys are too. I'm not saying you're completely healed, some of you. I'm saying that you look back and maybe at these times in the past, it was too hard, or you didn't want to do it, or you isolated. But I can see where it's very, very different, and it's almost like you're dipping your toe in again and you're trying, right? I keep getting knocked down, but I keep getting back up, bruises and all. Good, good. I got a good memory, but can't remember what I did. Yeah. I believe you, Tammy. I sort of just, because I don't know, I've worked with the other side for so long, worked with my higher self consciously. We're all working with the other side in our higher selves, and God, source, whatever you want to call it, universe, Mother Earth. We're always working with them. We're always, because they're part of us, but consciously, like me consciously knowing, I trust them. I trust myself. And so I just let it come when it's supposed to come. So yeah. So I kind of know there are bigger things at work. I'll give you the example. If she were to say about her, like she said about her color, being colorblind, and then I were to say, "Oh, we discussed that," and then that it ended there, there would have been a reason why they let me know that again, because they didn't let me know because I'm experienced in this. I'm thinking maybe somebody else needed to hear that part, and that's why the memory didn't come to me. And maybe because Tammy works with her higher self. Maybe she said that for a reason too, right? There's always these interconnected things going on that we don't always see. Yeah, which is in line to what's going on tonight, right? Your loved ones have never left you, even though when they first cross over, or maybe they've crossed over for a while, and I hear that from people when I'm doing mediumship. Why don't they contact me? Why can't I feel them? I just want to see them. And I'm sitting there and I can see them and I can hear them. And it's not like they're just going to give the message to me and they hadn't been trying with you. They've never left. We're omnipresent when we're not in this body. No, I'm sorry. We're omnipresent always. We're just aware of this body at this time. Okay. But we are omnipresent. So when when we go to the other side, they can be here, never leaving you, and they can also be going through their life review, and also be um, studying, I guess is what you would call it. That's what we would call it here, studying, experiencing in other aspects of ourselves. Um, but when we come and reincarnate into a body, we just have this focus because that's how this universe and this life works. So, like the laws of the universe, the universal laws, right? Whatever we focus on, right? Wherever our focus is, energy goes, energy flows. That's what makes everything solid. That's like the rules, the laws, and how they work in this universe. So we're conscious of this part of us. It doesn't mean we can't step out and be conscious of other things, which is what happens when we sleep, which is what happens when we dream, right? Because you guys know we did dream interpretations last week, right? And I didn't realize there was going to be such a response. I had so many emails of people asking me. So I will do another dream interpretation. I don't do that as a service. I don't know why. I just don't. I have so many other things that I'm doing that I just forget that I can do dream interpretation. It's not like I forget I can do it. It's just like it's not in front of me all the time. Not in a way where it's like a specific service, right? When I'm working with clients, I work a little differently. So when I'm working with clients, they'll tell me their dreams and I'll tell them what it means. That's kind of how I do the dream interpretation. It kind of flows that way for me. So, um, but when we dream, there are certain dreams that you can tell are like, no, that was a visit. That was my loved one that came through. I was talking to them. I know we were there together. I could feel them. Like, those types of dreams, right? And there are other types of dreams where you're like, I was there. I was there. I don't know where, but I was there. And this felt like I was alive and I was living another life. Like that's also, those are all true, right? You can think of dreaming as a portal. Okay. It's a portal. Now, there are steps and phases in dreams, right? When we sleep, and some of it is just you and your higher self and your brain, your mind. Do I want to say brain and mind? Yeah, it's like your brain filtering to help you understand and accept and implement the processes that you're going through here in this lifetime, right? So even though we don't remember everything, when we dream, we will get connections, right? So that's what dream interpretation is to me. There's different types. As a medium, I can tell when somebody's um it's just a talent I have. The thing I've worked on all my life. It's not even worked on, it's just did it. Um where I can tell because I'm a medium, I can tell, oh, this was that person filtering, or I get the message it really is from the other side, or they did go there, or this was another life of theirs. So yeah, but just know that your loved ones never have left you. The frequency is different, which is what we were talking about earlier, right? So your pain, they're trying to get through your pain. Your ego won't allow them to get through that frequency. This is how they describe it to me. It's like they're trying to get into that frequency to communicate with you, and they can't. So, what they've told me from the other side is when you remember the good stuff, when you begin to open, even though you're grieving, even though there's a lot of pain, if you can remember the way that you guys danced, when you made cookies together, when you took that trip, when you had the first kiss, all of those things will help open the heart, even though you're in pain. That gives them a way to come closer where you're aware because they've always been there. It's just so that you're aware that they're there because they hear you screaming and crying at them and saying that why haven't they come visit. They hear your hurt because they haven't come and visit. They hear that. So what they've told me is that when you can get into that better space, it makes it easier for them to get through. It's not even them to get through, is the way that they were showing me, but it's really so you can see, you can feel, you can know, right? And you can get their messages. But a lot of times that's why they'll come to you in their dreams. In your dreams, because your ego is at rest, it's in balance when you're asleep. So the ego that you have here in this life. Okay. Does all that make sense to everybody? What else? Anybody have any questions about the other side? It's so funny. I see them all lining up. Anybody? Anybody? Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments? Anybody have any experience? Anybody want to talk about that? You know what that hand makes me think of? That hand that y'all say hi with? It makes me think of somebody that had this is the medical part of me. Somebody that had an allergic reaction. If you ask the angels to let you remember your dreams, then you will. Hmm. And honestly, I mean, you can ask your angels, but you can just ask yourself, your higher self, right? Athena's laughing. That's what it reminds. Oh, see, Athena's in the medical field too, so she knows. Um, Sorry, not too. I'm not in the medical field anymore. She is, but that's what it reminds me of when I see it. I'm like, somebody had an allergic reaction and is saying hi. Isn't that funny what we think of? But yes, well, yes, true. But I was wording it different. No, no, it's correct. I'm just saying you can ask it. You can ask the angels. You can ask your higher self. You can ask God. Whatever you like connect to. Right? It's not a right or wrong. But yeah, if you like ask, you will remember. The only time that I've found where people don't remember is because they weren't willing to accept it yet. It wasn't time. Yeah, I've had that. I've had that happen to people. So, anybody else? It does. Yeah, it does really work. For the longest time in like in my 20s, I had a dream. Is it peeling potatoes and they were rotten inside? It was very wild. Yeah. So what was your reaction to them rotting inside? What was the feeling that you had? I dream often and remember most of them. That's cool, Athena. I sometimes I remember, a lot of times I'll just remember the feeling, but I let go of the part where I have to remember every single detail because y'all remember I'm a Virgo South Node, so it's like I had to like loosen that up. People I worked with. That was the feeling, people you worked with? Is it that you invested so much in those people and then they just didn't produce? Is that what it was? Or you felt like you invested so much in those people and then you found that it was all for nothing? Oh, shocking. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So Polly says, when my father passed, he came and sat on the bed next to me and rubbed my arm. Freaked me out. I was 17 years old. Yeah, they do come. Oftentimes they'll come right away. So you'll have them where they've crossed over and you haven't gotten the call yet, but they're sitting right there. Um, or that later that day or that night, whenever it happened, like you'll see them a few hours later, or you'll see them right as they're passing. Um, it's because they don't want you to be. They know the hurt that's going to come, and they just want to let you know that they haven't stopped. They haven't stopped being. They continue on. And honestly, if you know anything about dimensions, anything, you don't have to know all about. We don't all know all about dimensions, but if you understand that it's not a here or there, it's like very close from one dimension. Think of dimensions as a frequency, like a tenth off of another frequency is very, very thin. right? So they haven't really gone anywhere. Um, and then if you understand you yourself as the aspect of your higher self, we're all in the same space. We're all in the same space. It's not like we're moving through life. That's an illusion. We're not moving through life. Life is running through us. It's moving through us. A consciousness. So it's an illusion that you're separate from me. It's an illusion that I walk, that this pin is separate, that you guys are on another screen. It's the reason why I can do what I can do on video and still get messages at different times, at different dates. It's the reason why I can do all that I can do, because my understanding and my perception is this is an illusion, right? Now I can work within the illusion, but I also know how to get out of the illusion and change it a little bit, if that makes sense. Right? So alchemist. Yeah. Athena says sorry for your loss. The fact that he was able to rub your arm and feel, and you felt it, he's strong. That means he's an evolved soul. It means it didn't freak him out to cross over. He crossed over, he knew what he was going to do, and he was able to do that with you. So, an evolved old soul. Oh, thank you, Athena. That was more than 40 years ago. Mm, yeah, Polly. But this is about closure, so did you allow yourself to grieve at some point? Have you, or have we done the Texas thing and put it to the side and keep going, right? I just want everyone to honor themselves, their feelings, because oftentimes, most of this group, your feelings weren't honored, and now is that time, right? My understanding is loved ones live in the fifth dimension and live near water. So I won't say that all of them do, but I will say that maybe some of them do, sure. Reconnected with an estranged sister. Her son died 10. We haven't spoke until this week. Wow. That's really awesome. I'll have to tell you, that just reminds me of another story that just happened. So, when I went to New Mexico, I met some people. I don't remember this conversation. I was channeling, but Wendy looked over and saw me channeling. She was like, I knew you were channeling. So apparently, this woman hadn't seen her son in 25 years, didn't know if he was alive or dead. And I, now again, I don't even remember the conversation, but I said, no, he's still here on the side. And then I said, now this is what I'm told, because I don't remember this at all. And it's so weird because I can't even remember any of that. Like, but I said, no, he's still here. He's still alive. And again, she hadn't heard from him in 25 years. She was told who I was. They were excited at who I was, but they had never experienced who I was. And I said, oh, you're going to hear from him within the month. He's fine. I don't remember this, but Wendy just called me the other day and said, I've got to tell you something. So apparently he called her last week. It had been 25 years. And so she wanted Wendy to thank me for being me and to not stop what I do, but thank me. So that's not to boost my ego. That's just, it reminded me when he said that, when Mo said that. Um, yeah, it reminded me. I'm so happy that I'm happy that I was able to give her relief. I do remember her crying, but she cried a couple of times at a couple of different things. And that particular conversation, I didn't remember. We had all spent the evening together. So, and of course, when people find out that I'm a medium, they're excited. They want to know, and these are people that I was meeting. So yeah, I don't hide who I am. never have actually. But, if it doesn't come up in conversation, it doesn't come up. So I was glad that she was able to get that message. But that reminds me, Mo, people are reconnecting. We're about to move. So, no, we're on our way. We're doing it now. The way my father died just tore me up. And it took me almost 40 years to heal from that hurt and emptiness. Yeah. That's incredible. The work you do is amazing. Yeah. I'm so blessed. Yeah, to encounter people to be able to help, right? But I've worked on myself. I won't just say that it's a blessing. Like I took my talent, what I was naturally born with, and I was curious and I investigated and I did the work for it. So to say I'm blessed would mean like, oh, it was beyond my control. Um, so I don't want to say that. I've worked on, so just because I had the talent, I wanted to understand it. I wanted to know how to work with it. Some people would say control it, right? So be in control. It is my gift, so I get to be in control of it, right? And that's why, like your loved ones, they know how I work. They're vetted through the three beings that I work with, or the other side, like they're vetted already. They understand my way. They understand. I don't want 10,000 energies talking to me all at once, right? I'd like for it to be some sort of, again, South Node Virgo, right? Some sort of organized thing. And they know they can all be in a group, and whoever steps forward is who I will like speak to. And so oftentimes I'll let someone step forward. When and how did you discover your talent? So I was born with it. I've said this story before. I've always had it. I didn't realize not everybody did this. I didn't realize not everybody was like me, right? So I feel blessed being able to know you, Cindy. I give thanks for being able to share with you. Absolutely. I feel the same way. So thank you for asking that question again, Athena. So I was born like this, and I didn't, so forever, all my life, forever, like all my life, as far as my memories go, um, there's always been uh, what we call the other side. There's always been people that can communicate with me. There's always been energies, and it's not just people. There's always been energies. But when you're born like this, you don't realize that you're different. I thought everybody saw the same things and heard the same things and had the same things. It wasn't until, because I'm born 1969, you did not talk about that back then. People didn't even have a name for mediumship, right? It wasn't a name, it wasn't a thing. It was like almost like something that you just didn't discuss. Um, it wasn't until I was chastised um, for um, having what I have that I realized, because I was young, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, somewhere through there. And I know that some people have heard this story. It's great to know, yeah, this whole group. So when I was 5, 6, or 7, I was playing tea in my room. Do you guys remember those little bitty China tea things? They were like porcelain and they were like China tea sets. I had one of those. It was on my table, and I was playing tea with the other side with my friend. I was playing tea with my friends. So I was playing tea with my friends, and this man who was our neighbor was sitting there playing tea with me. So we're playing tea, and I'm like faking giving the tea and blah 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 blah. Yeah, they would have locked you up in the psych ward. Exactly. So I'm playing tea, and he asked me, we're all talking, we're playing tea, we're playing pretend, and he asked me if I could go he's asked me if I could go tell his wife something, give his wife a message, basically. So I said, yeah, he told me what to say. I ran out of the house. Well, I'm 5, 6, or 7. My mother comes running after me, and I knocked on the neighbor's door, and she was crying. And I remember, or she wasn't crying at the time. So I knocked on the door. She opened the door, and I said, um, "The paper that you're looking for is in the back of the uh, what is that credenza? The credenza is in the back of the credenza in the jacket, in his like black jacket, way in the back." And she said, "How do you know this?" And I said, "Well, Mr. So and so told me to come tell you." And she just lashed out at me, saying I was the devil's daughter, blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember everything she said. It was horrible stuff. I just remember wondering, I probably didn't even understand all the words she was saying. I just remember wondering why she was so mad at me, right? And at that point, my mother came and grabbed me, apologized, took me to the house, and said, there are certain things we can't tell people. We don't want to discuss those things, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I didn't understand why I was in trouble. Now, I wasn't in trouble from my mother, but I could tell the sentiment was that everybody was upset because I did this, right? Yeah, I had the tea set. I was having tea with my grandmother who passed before I was born. Exactly. So, anyway, so I learned that's the earliest memory that I can think of where I was chastised and I realized I was different, and I was realized to like be quiet about it, and uh but it was still being developed. Well, so I was born with it developed, but it was still being experienced and exercised. We'll say that my training was still going on, uh, um, because my family members knew that I was different, right? And we have it on both sides of my mother and my father, very strongly. And so, and they always say that there's one generation, like when the generation is born, there's a strong one coming, right? So they knew that I was that. What they would do with my family would be they would come and ask me questions or talk about a dream or talk about, they would tell me stories. From my point of view, they were telling me stories, and then they would ask me questions about the story, and I just thought we were playing a game. That's what I thought. I prayed to my ancestors and asked for guidance. Yeah. So um I've always had it. I've had a scientific mind. So I want everything to connect. And I had a knowing when I was little that once I understood the verbiage, right, of the spirit and the energy and science and religion, and like, so when that's how my journey was. It's like I wanted to figure out all of that because I knew that these two things could be connected. And so that's been my life story, is just if there's data, if there's um facts and evidence, then I try to put that together. So thank you for sharing your story with us. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, I think when I was in my teens, after I lost my mother, I mean, it was early teens. Well, when I lost my mother, it had some tragedies. And then, you're a teenager and you don't want to be found out and you don't want to be weird anyway. And so I realized um, I was in a group and I was in a group with girls, and I realized, I mean, there was this girl there too. I didn't recognize her, and everybody's talking and like ignoring her, and so what I asked them was like, why haven't you guys introduced this girl to me? Like, I thought they were being mean. This girl was from the other side. This was before I had put in all my practices. This was before all of that. So this is when I was a early teen. So that day I remember being embarrassed because they were like, what are you talking about? I sounded crazy. So I realized once again, I'm being chastised for this, blah, blah, blah. And so as a teenager, I was like, I don't want this anymore. I do not. So I say I closed it off. You never close it off. I completely would ignore them. I would ignore them. They could come in my room, they could be sitting right next to you, and I wouldn't acknowledge them. I would ignore them. They were called girls, right? Um, but I would ignore them. So for the longest time, I ignored them. And then probably in my early 20s, whenever tragedies happened or trauma happened, um, I would notice all of a sudden I would have to be focused on that stuff. That stuff, right? And then let's see. At some point, I started. So the children that were being abducted, women and men that were being abducted. We had a lot of serial killers back then. I was seeing it from their point of view, and then I was seeing it from the killer's point of view, and I was having a really hard time with it because these were awful things, and I was waking up in sweats. I was having a really hard time. This is when I was newly married at the time, and my husband was like, "You got to do something. Like, you got to go tell the police," because I would have all this evidence, and I'm like, "They're gonna think I'm crazy. Are you kidding? I can't go. I cannot go. No, I'm not doing that." And then we had a baby, and I'm like, "I'm not. They're gonna put me in a psych ward. I'm not going to go and tell these people these things. Like, I'm not doing it." Anyway, so that's what I had decided at some point and found mentors and really studied and really understood. And then my career was going that way where I got opportunity to be with very spiritual, highly spiritual people that did this, that knew, so monks, um, yeah, so monks and just different types of people, gurus, monks, all those types of people as my career went on. Um, and then I understood when I understood that I get to choose. I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be solving cases. I don't want to see that stuff. I've had enough tragedy and trauma in my life. I don't want to see that stuff. And so through practice, through understanding, through, um, studying, knowing, um, that's when I decided to put those boundaries in. And so I don't, it's not like I can't see those, but that's not usually what comes to me. That's not my work. My work for a long time were people that didn't believe at all in extra, extra life, us going on. So that's kind of shaped the evidential medium, because I bring evidence. And I've had several clients that I didn't know that would come to me and say, I have to rewrite my papers. I have to redo things, because there's no possible way you can know this stuff. There's no way. And I'm like, well, there is if they're right there. And that's kind of how it went. That's a long story. I mean, it goes further, but it's kind of the gist of it, right? So yeah, that's some of my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anybody have any thoughts? I know I start talking and then people get quiet, but probably already read. You had the T set. Allowing is so powerful. It is very. I have so many questions. Most bring them. You go, Cindy. Where to start? I don't know. One of the books that I was writing, I was like, where do you, that was like one of my first lines, like, where do you start when there is no ending or beginning? Where do you start? That's so funny, Mo. Every time you say something, it's reminding me of something. Have you been here before? Do they just come forward? So I have parameters. Uh, that's why I tell you guys, like, I've opened myself up to mediumship, right? So it's always open, right? So this talent is this gift, this whatever that I am, from my understanding, I've been dealing with it for a long time and then just gotten better, right? Well, welcome, Mo. There's got to be something about you because I keep remembering stuff when you say something. So thank you. But yeah, Athena, I have parameters, so they are no, so unless it is a dire need and I trust my being, the three that I told you I'm part of that are me but don't incarnate, right? And there's very little variance between them, but it's the only way I can explain it to you guys. But um, there, so the other side, your loved ones are vetted, and then my who I work with, which is all of them, but the three beings that I am, I'd be the fourth. Uh, I'm the one that incarnates, right? So that's from my understanding. Um, they already know how I work, so they know, oh, she would want to be bothered as she's sleeping. Oh, this is important enough that she would want to blah blah, like they know me. But I already put my parameters down a long time ago, which is, if it's for that person, and if I'm not going to see them again, and if there is an opportunity, or if it's imperative because of timing here that I say what I need to say, then your loved ones can come through, right? But I do have parameters where they can't just come through and walk in, right? It's not like when I was in my 20s and would just ignore them, right? I am so practiced and experienced in this life, this time, that they only come through when I allow. That makes sense? Yeah, my boundaries. I was drawn to this channel too. Yeah, Mo, there's something. That's interesting. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I'm not seeing that I need to see and deal with. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm just hearing as like you've been working really hard, Polly, and I'm hearing that you can't there are some breaks in there because of timing. So it will come as it needs to come. Don't overdo it. We should book a personal meeting. Absolutely, Mo. Absolutely. You are welcome to email me, Tammy, if you want to. Would you please? Not if you want to. Tammy, if you would give my email out again, that would be great. Shadow work, yeah. I'll get your contact information below. There's my email. Just email me and we can book a meeting. I'll send you my services. I have something called coffee time. So it's just where we sit, and those are good first meetings because we can sit via Zoom and just have some coffee. It's like two friends just reacquainting themselves. That's usually what it feels like. It's like two souls that know each other that are just in my work. That's what it's been. It's like, oh, we finally get to meet in this lifetime, right? And so begins our journey, right? Gotcha. And supper. Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. It would be an honor, Mo. It would be an honor. Yeah. Yeah, our group is really something special. I'm sure everybody that has a group is like, our group is special. It really is. It really is something. Like, if you found us, like attracts light. So you've gone through a lot and you are very aware and you're an old soul. Yeah, it's just Yeah, we're all like that. We've had a lot of trauma, but our group isn't trauma based. It's just like we understand and have grown through and have come to terms and have worked on ourselves. And it's not, it's the trauma that my group, it's, those are unspeakable things. Unspeakable things. Perfect. Yep, exactly. Empress Shirley, welcome. You too. I feel like I've known y'all. Like I'm having this feeling like I know y'all. It's not funny, but like I'm we're meant like I know you, like you're on here. But I just explained to you that I know you because anybody that encounters me, we've had lives together. It's exciting to figure out what it is, right? Thank you, Cindy. Phew, I've been spinning over this and not able to move forward like I think I should. Yeah, I'm hearing probably to be kind to yourself. Like, don't overdo it. We've laid the sword down. Absolutely. The way Tammy's explaining that, we've laid the sword down. We're moving to a different energy. We spent most of our life mastering independence, doing it, mastering alone, mastering coming out of making something from nothing, mastering huge, huge losses, mastering all of that. And this group where we're going is laying down that sword because the way that I say it is think of the fact that you did that in your younger years and maybe now you have to master abundance and happiness and joy and magic. Like maybe that's what we're supposed to be mastering right now, right? Could some trauma be from? Oh yeah. So Mo, you want to look at my Pluto series? I have so my Pluto playlist, not my series. I haven't finished the series. But and I'm here Monday through Friday, and usually I talk about lately I've been talking about astrology because astrology is one of my passions and I can show you guys what's happening. Well, I work really closely with Pluto. He's been a really big thing in my life, and Pluto has to do with your past and future traumas. It's almost it's the baggage that we carry in this life that we continue to carry, but it's a psychological baggage, right? And so we have these memories and these essences of our past life and even our future life. Um, so yeah, absolutely. Pluto's definitely the trauma can be from past life or future lives. Yeah. And I explain that if you watch my Pluto playlist. Um, yeah, just go to my channel and then go to playlist and you'll see. I think it's like Pluto's revolution into Aquarius or something. So my North Node is Scorpio. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, that would make sense. So for some reason, right, you don't know it. That's your mission. Your North Node and your South Node are destiny points, and the North Node is your mission. So your mission can be your passion, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your passion, but it is your mission. It's that thing that you go to or attract that you don't know why. Like I can't stop thinking about it. I can't figure this out. I can't, but I continue to try. That's the North Node, right? So yours being in Scorpio is like really wanting to go deep because I'd like to know, do you know what house it's in? I've ignored so many deep thoughts. Yeah, you have to go deep. It's like me. My ninth house. Thank you, Witch Witch. Thank you. My ninth house is Scorpio. So speaking about spirit, oh, it did come on. Thank you. New member. Thank you. It's Chance. Thank you, Chance. Um, you guys, I did that on my own where it shows up. Isn't that cute? It's my ninth house. So Scorpio's your ninth house. So see, that's why I'm feeling you so deeply. Um, so we go deep with these types of subjects, right? We want to know all. And when we go deep, it's not deep enough. It's like, no, we can do more. There's more to understand. There's more to learn. There's more to explain, right? With that being your north node, you're just trying to figure out how deep that is, what the essence is, and how true and with integrity it is as well. That's not the whole thing, but that's like a major thing. It is well, it can be frightening, sure. Sure. So what you want to do is balance, because it's your ninth house, you want to balance it with that third, right? So that third house is about studying. It's about your everyday life. It's about the communication, right? So you're trying to take from the ninth house and bring it to the third, right? That's how you work with that, because that's your south node. So your south node is always opposite of your north node, right? So um, if your north node is ninth house, then your south node is the third house. And the third house, your south node, is what you've mastered. It's what makes you feel most comfortable. That makes sense? So you want to like look at what sign that third house is and if you have any planets there helping that south node. So when you do too much of the south node and you're not looking into the north node, it becomes imbalanced, and that's where you can get into some issues. So like if you're doing more of what's in the third house and not what's in the ninth as well. So if you're not balancing, you can get off kilter, right? And that's how you work with your nodes. Everybody thinks you should just be going towards your north node, right? Or just stay safe in your south node. Now you have to work both of them. You have to learn to incorporate both of them and work together. Hey, Tammy, thank you for giving my husband a membership. You're welcome. Thank you, Tammy. That was so nice. Some issues. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll talk. We'll talk, definitely. Mm. Oh, I see that now. Tammy, you did do that. Thank you. That was so nice. That was so nice, Tammy, to gift Chance that. Hmm. Now, I was just talking to you, Mo, but I do have Empress. Who was the other one? Empress Shirley. Do you have a mother figure or mother on the other side? I didn't know where it was going to. I've been fascinated with astrology for 5 years now. It helped me figure some things out. Yeah. So you do. Okay. I know. That's why I love astrology, because I can show you guys what I see. I can show you. And again, because my science background, like I always want to bring evidence. I want you to see what I am seeing, right? That's why I do hypnosis. Because the way I say this is I can I can tell you what they're telling me. I can show you what the universe is doing through astrology. I can tell you what they're telling me through mediumship, or you can see it for yourself going under when I put you under, right? Um, so this is for you, Shirley. You have a mother on the other side or a mother figure. Was she really dramatic? Like I can see where, or was there someone, I don't know if this is her funeral when they passed or her at a funeral when someone passed, being like overly dramatic. And I don't know why they're showing me that. You were being overly okay. So she saw you. She's being really dramatic. Like she's showing me where you're like just bawling over, almost screaming and yelling. And this is, yeah, this is her way to show you that she's there, that she saw you. You've taken it really hard. Was she like when she said stuff, was she a comedian about it? Was she like really lighthearted about things? Because she's telling me things that are serious, but it's like she's telling me and laughing like it's lighthearted. Yeah. So was she one that would be like taking a serious situation and being lighthearted? Like some people might say that she was callous or like that's not something you joke about, but she would joke about it because that's the way she's giving it to me. Yeah, so she's still doing that because I'm like, I don't want to say that, like, and she just thinks it's very lighthearted. So she wants you to know, but definitely that she was there. She saw the whole thing. She wants to thank you. What's the deal about the flowers? She wanted to thank you with a certain, because there was a lot of them, but there was a certain one. Did you see her there? The tulips. Okay. Did you sense her around that? Because it's like she was there and trying to show herself to you. And it's usually they don't want to do that because they don't want to scare her, but it's almost like you sensed her right there. She wants you to know if you so did you? Because what she's telling me is that was me. I was there, and you did see that, or you did feel that. That is true for you. Yes, being flippant. Did she? Because it's almost like, well, I mean, I liked. I'm gonna have to tell you the way she's telling me. Because she's not laying off of that being lighthearted about things. So please excuse me, I do not mean to offend. She's like, don't say all that. Just say it like I'm gonna say it. Okay. She's like, I did like those types of flowers. I don't like those types of flowers now. Like, I'm getting that that was part of the problem was that people thought they knew her. She's giving me that so that because she's like, people thought they knew me, but they didn't really know me. And then she would say those things to shock people. It's almost like to get them to listen and to get them to see her, which is, she's telling me that's why she had to be so overt about things. Is this true? Okay. Yeah, she's like, my daughter. So that's your daughter. So she's like, my daughter knows me. For some reason, it's really important for you to understand she is no longer in pain or anger. Their anger comes out a lot. Like I'm feeling a lot like, please know my heart is at rest. My soul is at rest. I am no longer angry. That makes sense. It's the anger more than anything. Not just that she's in a good place. It's like she's telling me that she's in a good place. She was going to heaven. Like somehow you knew, even if she was outlandish and said inappropriate things sometimes, or said it in a different way, or a way that people wouldn't understand, you knew she was she was going to heaven. She was going to heaven. That makes sense. Yes, give thanks. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, she wants you to know no more anger. She's making me feel like, thank you for being my daughter and being born when I was not healed completely. So you were born and came into her life when she felt anger and broken and at a time where she hadn't healed yet. And you are such a wise, I want to say old soul, but it's more than that. It's like it would have to be a daughter like you to understand and forgive for the way that she was. And she wants you to know she sees that. She wants to thank you for that. She knows that it from the other side, she can see now that it was your sacrifice of almost absorbing all the hate that she had, all the anger that she had, all of that. And she wants to thank you. It's more than thanks. She also says it's time for you to live. It's time for you to get the rewards of the sacrifices that you made. That makes sense? So I feel like she's showing me, like, at times, because I guess you're asking this question, at times in your life with your mother, there were times where she would lash out and you didn't understand, or when she would do things and you thought she was just being um, hateful or awful, or why does she do it that way? Why can't we just do it this way, right? So she's showing me times of that. But you were always behind her. You always honored her, even though sometimes it didn't make sense to you. Does that make sense? Hmm. Yeah, she just showed me where she's very proud of you. She gave me the feeling of being very proud of you. Okay. So for some reason, she's trying to get you to understand that it is time for you to live and accept and understand, because something's trying to come through in your life and you're not allowing it because of the things that you were harboring or been through. And she's trying to help. She's trying to loosen that energy for you, because for some reason there's this big thing that's coming for you. There's this big thing that's happening or going to happen in your life. I want to say that changes everything, but but really it's like I'm seeing you look at it and be like, wow, there is happiness, there is joy. I don't have to fight all the time. Does that make sense? She doesn't want you to feel guilty. I don't know why you feel guilty. But she's saying she doesn't want you to feel guilty. So don't feel guilty because you couldn't fix this. Don't feel guilty because you couldn't fix this. You weren't meant to fix this. You had fixed enough. You have done more than enough. You have sacrificed more than enough. She's trying to get you on track to your blessings. There's something major coming. She's not letting me know what that is. She's just, well, basically, she's like, well, life, but it's a big life. It's a different way of being. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is important too as she's leaving because I asked her if there was anything more. Um, there's some, so she wants you to know that, do you have like an uncle or the grandfather? It's a male that met her when she crossed over, and she said they all begin to dance, but I'm seeing like, it's not like a we're dancing together, it's like we're dancing as a group together, right? And it's almost like her heart became very peaceful and her heart really opened and she understood really quickly. Yeah, even before her life review, she understood very quickly where she was, and her she wants you to know she was never alone through the whole process. But there's a male specifically because I see them two dancing and it's almost like they're dancing to the in the sunset. I'm seeing the sun barely over the mountains, but it's like a deserty mountain, and I'm seeing them dance off into the sun. Yeah. That makes sense? Okay. Okay. I hope that helped. She actually did it again where they danced off into the sunset, so she's pulled back. I'm glad. You got some good things coming for you. They're like she showed me the wall where they're like trying to come through. They just need you to take that wall down. Yeah. All right, everyone. That's all I'm going to do tonight. Um, I will be on tomorrow. I'll do a little bit. Yeah, we'll probably do some more mediumship. Yeah, because I told you guys last week I keep channeling, so I'm just going to leave it open. Now, I may come on tomorrow a little bit earlier. I'm trying to get to where it's early, like, I don't know, 5, 6, 4, somewhere through the 3. So we'll see. But I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you so very much, Tammy, Polly, Chance, Mo. Let's see who else. Empress, Shirley, Alejandra. So some people will come in and can't say much because they're at work. Um, Athena, thank you so much. I'm just going through everybody's name to make sure. Thank you for coming in, holding space. Thank you for asking those questions because I know people want to know. So I appreciate you asking the questions about how I became a medium, all of that. Let's see who else. I think that's it. All right, guys. I love you, love you, love you. I will see you on the next one. Bye.